It's not just that I see the sun, but it's by the sun I see everything else. And I'll tell you, that's what's involved in seeing God. We don't only see Him, but when His light dawns, all of a sudden it shows us the reality of what everything else is about. And suddenly we see the vanity of this life. You don't have to make rules. We have something in our heart that just turns and looks at that thing and says, my God, why did I think that was so important? Why couldn't I trust God with that? So many of the issues, that the more we see of Him and His light and His purposes and His love and His character and all these things that just caused Paul to go into raptures, trying to express it, it just sets everything else in its place. But I see this in lives, and I just pray that God will help everyone who has an issue, has a problem, has a need in your life to seek Him. Say, Lord, I am going to serve You. I don't care what happens. I don't care how this or that thing works out. I want You. I trust my life into Your hands. That's all there is about it. And I'm seeking You, Lord. I want to be like Paul. I want to be like these people in the Scriptures. Because if there's anything else, God sees that. And God's not going to have any God above Him, is He? All we're doing is compromising, and we're trying to, anybody that's serving some earthly dream, some earthly desire, and that's really the more important thing. All you're saying is, God, you're not God, this is, and I'm expecting You to fix this for me. That's what's happening. I tell you, this pulls on people more than we realize. You'll read in one of Paul's letters at the end, he extends greetings to the saints, and one of the people he extends greetings from is a man named Demas, who was at that point a fellow laborer of some sort. He was part of Paul's company that went around with ministering. But toward the end of 2 Timothy, he had the sad duty to write to Timothy. He said, Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world. All that time there was something down in his heart. His real attachment was to this life, to what he could get out of this world. And when circumstances didn't go the way he thought they should, and Paul was in prison, things didn't look good, he said, that's it. And this real love came out. God is seeking out of every one of us an undivided heart. And I just want to look very quickly at a passage in Psalm 84, I believe it is, that I think illustrates the vision and the understanding of someone who gets this. Because up to this point, this is teaching, this is instruction, these are the words of Jesus saying, seek first His kingdom. But here is an expression of a heart that understands this principle. Way back here in the Old Testament, this writer says, how lovely is Your dwelling place, O Lord Almighty. My soul yearns, even faints, for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Even a sparrow has found a home, and a swallow a nest for herself, where she may have her young, a place near Your altar. I've often wondered about that. It sounds wonderful and cute and poetic and beautiful and all of that. But I almost wonder if the writer here is not referring to having noticed that in the altar they had a literal altar in those days, that perhaps there were some birds that were able to fly in there and have a nest, and God didn't kill them and say, hey, you shouldn't come in here. There was a sense that there was a place of peace. There was a place they could find a home. And so this just presents another way of saying this is a great place to be. This is the place where you want to be. It's a place where even a sparrow can find a place of rest. And of course the implication is, if they can, so can we. O Lord Almighty, my King and my God, blessed are those who dwell in Your house. They are ever praising You. See, he's looking right past earth. The writer is looking past everything of this world, and he's seeing eternity. He's saying, oh God, what an awesome thing it is to be in Your presence. Anybody who's there with You in Your dwelling place, has a life of joy, a life of peace, a life of praise. There's something so real and so wonderful about that. I long to be there. I have to be here right now, but I long for that. That's where the focus of my life is. I've experienced you enough, Lord, to know what you're like. You've drawn near to me. You've made yourself known to me. I know you're a wonderful, awesome God, but you aren't doing that just so I can have something here. You're doing it to draw my heart towards eternity. And that's where my focus of my life is about. That's what the psalmist is expressing. Now he goes on into another section here, and he's talking about the life here. Said, blessed are those whose strength is in you. Anybody here need strength? Anybody here who's got the strength to do all the stuff that we need to be doing in this earthly journey? No. But I'll tell you, we've got a God who knows how to strengthen his children. He doesn't just dump this on us and say, you figure it out, you muster the courage. He says, I'm going to be, those who set their hearts to one day walk with me and to be with me, I guarantee I am going to be right there. I am going to be your strength. There will never be a time when you can't look to me and ask me for the strength that you need to put one foot in front of another. I am your strength. And the writer is saying, man, what an awesome thing. There's a man that looks to God and God strengthens him. Isn't he? He is just the most fortunate among men. He is someone to be envied, someone to be looked up to and say, this is a fellow that I want to be like. You know, I don't care about the movie stars. I don't care about the sports heroes and all that stuff. This is the guy I want to be like. He is someone who walks with God, and God gives him strength to put one foot in front of another. Blessed are those whose strength is in you, who have done what? Set their hearts on pilgrimage. There's a lot in that, isn't there? That's a pretty good description of this life. Instead of seeing this life as the end product, and this is what everything's about, get all you can while you're here, live for pleasure, fulfill your dreams, saying this life is a pilgrimage. We are not at home here. We are passing through. We are going somewhere else. We have seen a vision of a heavenly city, and we are headed there. And I guess the greatest picture outside of the Bible would be Pilgrim's Progress, because that's what he did. In fact, his name is Pilgrim, or at least the title of the book. But here was somebody who lived in the city of destruction, and God showed him through an evangelist that there was a city that God had prepared. The city he was in was going to be destroyed, and he needed to set out on a pilgrimage to go to that city. That's where he would be safe and full of joy and hope and all the good things that his heart longed for. How do you see your life? I mean, think about what it is that motivates you when you get up in the morning. How do you see your life? What do you seek? What do you want? It's a pretty important question, isn't it? To look in the mirror and be honest and say, what do you want? Because I'll tell you, God is looking for people who want him. He longs to have people who want him above everything of this earth, and who said, oh God, I see you. Like Paul, like so many others. Lord, you've shown me eternity.